Alton Brown here, almost all alone at the Good Eats test kitchen, and I want to make something today that we would never make on Good Eats because it would depend upon on a brand name cereal, and we can't use brand names. So we are going to make Rice Krispy. This is my quarantine mask. Rice Krispy treats. Come on over. We're going to make them. Let's do it. Here's the simple truth, ladies and gentlemen. If you're going to make Rice Krispy treats, you better be using Rice Krispies, not puffed rice cereal, which is what you have to say on TV because after all, this is a brand name. And here's another thing. You're going to need marshmallows. Are you better off making your own marshmallows? Sure. But are we going to do that right now? No. But we might be able to find some made ones, some bagged ones, and I would only go with Jet Puff. I have two 10-ounce bags of the aforementioned Jet Puff. Could I do this with one? Yes. But why would you send one bag of marshmallows if you could send two? The one little switch up here, butter. You're going to need a stick of butter. And this is where I'm going to get a little gourmet on you. Oh, I actually needed that. This is a brand name butter, and it's a darn good one. This is a Kerrygold. It's a high-fat butter. It is high butter fat. It is tasty stuff, and it is going to make all the difference in the world to this recipe. More on this later, because we've got to do some stuff to this. I'm also going to add salt, because kosher salt. There you go. So the parts list is, the stuff that you know from childhood. But you might notice that I have a wok here, and the reason that I have a wok here is because I'm going to toast all of this cereal. And I usually do that with a slightly smaller box, so odds are this is going to make a terrible mess that no one's going to clean up because there's nobody here and I'm not going to do it. So let's come on over and put this on the heat. I'm going to do this over medium-high heat at first. My goal here is to just toast the cereal, making it just a little bit darker, a little darker brown. That is going to bring out more of the ricey flavor, and believe it or not, that is going to definitely translate into the final dish. It's going to take a few minutes. I'm getting 99% of it back in the wok. I think it's pretty good. I'm going to turn down the heat just a little. I smell burning. I can't tell if it's snap or crackle, but one of them's burning bad. I'm burning. We're good to go. So I'm going to remove this to a bowl, because we need the wok for other business. We are going to brown the butter. We're actually going to cook it until its sugars and milk proteins brown a bit. That is going to bring a considerable amount of flavor to the party. You could do this with regular, we'll call it everyday butter instead of the really good stuff. But I do think that for a dessert like this, I mean, heck, if you're going to eat this many calories, make it good, You do not have to do this in a wok. You could do this in separately in a saucepan. You could do it in just anything almost. I've actually browned butter in a tin can one time. I guess it was technically aluminum. But since I've got to use the wok anyway, I'm going to go with this. Now, if you wanted to toast your rice, but you didn't have the wok, just use the biggest pot you got with the widest bottom. You won't be able to do the tossing part, but that's okay. If you want to check for the colors, if you're using a dark pan like a wok, you'll have to use something where you can get a look at it. I'm going to let that brown just a little bit more, but not too much, because I don't want to burn it. That's looking all right. That's about all I want out of that. I'm going to add a little bit of salt. That might foam up a little. Don't worry about it. All right, I'm going to turn the heat down just a bit. Marshmallows. Now at this point, you're probably going to want to get a rubber spatula because things are about to get really, really sticky. And just stir until those marshmallows break down. Remember, they're mostly air, but they are going to get really gooey. Don't get this on your hands or you'll have to chop them off. That's oddly satisfying. Oh, come on, big guy. There you go. I'm gonna let this just melt down. Meantime, I'm gonna get my container ready. Now, most of you have probably made Rice Krispy treats in a pan. But when I was a kid, I wanted to eat these things without my mother knowing that I was eating them. So when I made them, and I learned how in Boy Scouts, I actually just learned to spray a little cooking spray into the original cereal bag. We're going to actually put the mixture back in here and let it set. That way you can just walk around looking like you're eating cereal, but you're actually eating Rice Krispie treats. That's right, Mom. That's what I was doing that whole time. Basically, we've got brown butter marshmallow fluff. I feel like Willy Wonka. Keep the heat on at this point, where the marshmallows will set too soon. Now just stir and be patient. It's going to take a few minutes. This is going to blow people's minds. Now we got to move fast. We're nearly, like I said, into a pan, and that's perfectly fine if that's how you want to do things. But not me. Trust me, there'll be plenty of left over, because this is going to more than fill this box. I really should have put a glove on. 1, because this isn't terribly sanitary, and 2, I'm burning, just like Snap and Crackle. But you know what? I'm here by myself, except for camera guy, and he doesn't mind. Al, we'll just let this cool down for a few minutes. An innocent box of Rice Krispies. So, here we have it. Huh? Completely hidden inside an innocent box of unsweetened cereal, so that when my mom yells at me, "Alton, are you eating candy again?" "No, Ma, I'm just eating cereal. There's not even any sugar in here."